What up, you guys? We are here for our weekend Oracle and Tarot message using the Radiant Sun Oracle and the Dreaming Way Tarot. So it's a pretty direct message. Up first, we've got Mars in Cancer, which is Quarrel, followed by Appreciation, which is Libra in Leo. Followed by Influence, which is Mercury in Aquarius. No, Mercury in Libra. And Appreciation is the Moon in Leo. Underneath Quarrel, we have the Magician. Underneath Appreciation, we have Nine of Cups. Sitting pretty, if I might say, with some snazzy little boots. And then underneath Influence, we have Seven of Swords reverse. Now, do you guys remember at the beginning of the week, we had Seven of Swords upright in our weekly, not alchemy message, but our archetypal message, our anchor message. And that was basically warning us or like highlighting or asking us to find like what influence in our life is like robbing us of time, energy, resources, right? Is this like bad habits that are, robbing you from your ultimate potential? It could be anything. It could be a multitude of things. So it's like we were really pinpointing through the week and gaining a lot of clarity on, okay, what is it that's like ultimately holding us back? Whilst at the same time, we were gaining all this clarity. We were like feeling all of these feelings, releasing so much, like all this pent up stuff was like coming out, ready to lash out. If you remember the midweek alchemy message with that oil of vitriol, which was like the green lion, raging at the image of, what was it? The green lion eating the sun. So it was like this moment of like kind of like a that needed to happen to clear the air. And it was like something that we, was building, right? Because we'd been practicing restriction, and which sometimes like teeters on, trying to find that fine line between repression and when do we have the permission and the divine timing to express something, whereas when are we supposed to, not express, right? So it's like this dance that we've been doing, and there was a purge this week and all this craziness in between eclipses and through Mercury bringing it all back up again. So it's so interesting that I feel like the storm is kind of like the height of having that feeling of it all being processed. The discomfort is behind us. We faced the worst of it, and now it's like the next part of the process moving through and beyond. So the Quarrel paired with the Magician, I think these are so interesting to have together, because this Quarrel here, it's like these two characters are facing off and they're fighting for possession of something. The book describes them as two suitors fighting over the same betrothed. I see these two characters fighting over the cosmic ring of cosmic sovereignty, whereas it's like this warring battle within you where you're trying to be in a state of cause consciousness versus effect consciousness. So it's like you're trying to gain your own sovereignty and power, divine power, to choose with free will and create your own reality, rather than be, your consciousness be at the in the throes of the storm, at the mercy of the circumstances, right? We don't want to be so affected by the illusion of the lie of the outer appearances, right? So we've been really working out that inner conflict and walking away from, that inner conflict inside. And because of that, it's been able to help us gain clarity and see through and resolve a lot of the outer conflict that was manifesting as a result of the inner, right? The inner is always being mirrored in the outer. And so once we got to the core of that and we started working that out from the inside, we see that, like, you know what, we don't need to be caught up in this quarrel, right? The outer struggle. We can put the struggle down. We have what it takes to be a conscious co-creator of the reality that we want. And so I want this to look like this magician is walking away from like a lower, like this is like what the up leveling looks like. It's like this was the struggle that we used to be in, right? This is when I decided to leave TV and film production and that freelance world to move on to something that I could have a bridge to create more certainty and security, but ultimately as a way to launch something of my own that I wanted to create and do this channel. I couldn't do that in film. There was no way. It was like always so sporadic, and I was either all in and not available for this at all or nothing. And so I had to walk away and find a job that would support my dream, to have those hours available and have more flexibility. And so it's been a great bridge. So it's like taking yourself out of the mentality of that competitive struggle, right? Where you're like fighting for the gig and fighting over, what the limited resource, right? That illusion of scarcity, and walking away from that fear and that lack and that doubt and putting it aside. And it's like, okay, even if you're not literally leaving an environment of, like, say you work in a competitive field and you want to create something else, like I was just saying, even if you don't like necessarily physically leave or literally leave that field altogether, like burn the bridge and like take the jump immediately, you can bridge your way out by just taking your mind and your energy out of trying to make that work, and give yourself like the relief of just letting it be what it is. Just surrender to the now and put all your energy and focus into what it is that you're intending to create, right? So it's like that. When I was in the last phases of production and I was in the last year or so, and I knew that I was searching for an exit strategy. And I knew that wasn't like, I knew that I was coming up with a plan, or I knew I was searching for a plan, and that I wasn't entrapped in that situation anymore. It really lightened up my mood and my consciousness and my vibration, because there was like a tunnel, at least. I may not have had certainty about what I was going towards, but I knew a solution would come. And then I went through a time of uncertainty where I knew it was like this divine fog, where I knew I was supposed to be in the uncertainty and move through it with faith that something would present. And then I was, presented with an opportunity that worked out immediately to just all align. And it was the job that I have now. And it was through, some serendipitous events, right? And so it's like, this is the situation we find ourselves in again. It's like, take your worry off of whatever you're too focused on trying to make the bridge perfect, when you could just like let it have, like, just be at peace with it, be in the power of now, right? Just be at peace, because it's being at peace. Everywhere's like a neutral portal, right? And if you are unsettled and you don't know how to cultivate and maintain that inner peace, then you go to the next portal and it's going to antagonize you as well. And so it's like, just be at peace. Make peace with where you're at in this moment. Put down the struggle and realize that you are fully capable. You are a divine being, a co-creator with divine, and you have cosmic sovereignty, and you can choose with a free will to focus your intent, focus your attention and resources, and like invoke constructive will to have discipline and do the thing that needs to be done to start moving towards a more fulfilling, it's like your soul calling is calling you. And we are moving into this new age, and this timeline jump and this quantum leap happened like during eclipse season. I didn't even realize that all this time that this is the beginning of the age of Aquarius. We have just moved out of Pisces, like I think within days, like within the last week or something. So it's crazy how we've all been onto this on this channel, not knowing that the astrology was always aligning with it as well. So it's so crazy. So yeah, big expanding things happening. So just walk away from conflict, like let go of the struggle, let go of conflict, leave it behind you, focus on appreciation, right? And you know, this card, so it's like more like focusing on appreciation. That's what's going to get you what you want. If you're frustrated and you feel like you're not being appreciated, that's going to block you from what you want, because it's going to close you off. It shuts you down as a vessel. And it also, it's like putting you in this consciousness of taker consciousness rather than giver consciousness. And when we are constantly looking for the return on investment or the results from what we're doing, and not just focused on the goodness of it and the process of it and the beauty and the love of it and the sharing of it and the good, you know, the sharing goodness into the world, and we're like, what is in it for me? Then that's draining, and it causes us to be frustrated. And when we are frustrated, it's a sign that it's not that we don't have enough, because when we're frustrated, our perception is, I'm not getting enough. And then we're radiating out, I'm not getting enough. But the truth is, the cosmic truth is, when we feel frustrated, we have more than we can appreciate, because you're not appreciating what you have in this moment. And if you fully appreciate what you have in this moment, you can hold a space of feeling fulfilled in this moment while still having a desire for all that's to come shortly, you know, soon, you know, what's coming in, and you're not feeling the lack because you're connecting with pure fulfillment, right? And so it can be, you know, I tried to train myself to focus on like simple things that made me feel so fulfilled in, you know, living out levels of my dream life, living the dream in various stages and degrees along the way, different versions of it. And you're kind of upgrading as you go. So the key to really getting what we want right now, the key to like aligning with that potential, that next level, that higher self, is having affinity with the light. It's all about vibrational resonance. And so we need to be in a state of appreciation, of love. And this card, it made a note to point out that this woman was like singing to this bird and like performing for her audience. Well, this theme of this reading, I mean, there's a lot of that. It's like this magician here is like making this dream happen of almost like performing and communicating to an audience. And this influencer, I keep like seeing this. It's like you perhaps have like a book or something in the media to create, or something along those lines, where you might be using creative expression or your version of it. And that could be within a company, right? You could be the person who is the copywriter, or, you know, the person that comes up with the you know, marketing campaigns and things like that, and using that creative expression to reach and have influence, right? So this can be applied in different ways. Now, the shadow side of this card is that this character can get too focused on feeling not appreciated, right? And so if you're feeling unappreciated, then that's not going to align you with the blessing. So focus on giving appreciation. Focus on vibrating with appreciation, ingoing and outgoing. Focus your energy there, because it's such a high vibrational energy. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations on the like emotional vibrational triangle pyramid. And then we have influence here, and this coiling snake represents Mercury, and we've got Mercury in retrograde right now in the spotlight. But I feel too that like Mercury right now, like in this reading, it really might pertain to something to do with communications, or communicating something, expressing an idea, or something of that nature. Seven of Swords reversed is actually a card that talks about you have received good information or good advice, or someone has given you some insight that actually does pertain well to your situation, but it might come in like a form that you were like kind of second guessing it, or it was like you wondered if it was like relevant for you or on the up and up. So it came in a way that you hesitated, or that you initially weren't quite sure. And so it's like there's something about this advice that could have a very positive influence on you, and it may literally be help or advice directing you as to how you can be an influencer, or like gain more momentum in this thing that you're trying to create, that could have an influence on the audience that needs your product, or mankind, or what have you. That this is Adam and Eve in the garden. And when Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, they were in the astral realm. They were in this spiritual limbo world where like the dream world is. And they weren't in the physical flesh world yet. And so they were walking in perfect union with source, with divine, in that state of fulfillment. They were connected with the fulfillment. They were in a state of conscious fulfillment. It was when they disconnected from that feeling of that conscious fulfillment, and then connected with that consciousness of shame and that lack and that undeserving, that they fell, and that was the threat, that they believed that temptation, that they believed those lies. And so it's like that is what disconnected them from that unity, from that constant state of harmony and blessing and abundance. So again, it's like there's layers of this. It's like trying to reconnect and sustain that state of fulfillment is going to give you the vibrational harmony and ease that you need to get over the hump and dissolve this block. At the same time, it's giving you clarity about how and what, like, how to move your plans in your outer circumstances too, like what you need to do to propel your goals and your plans forward. It's like it's all, you're getting clarity about it, it's all coming together. And then really and truly, once you realize like you have all the resources, like you not only have all the resources, you have everything it takes, and then like the cosmos are behind you. You've got your mind, heart, soul, everything's in alignment. So you can create this life that you want for yourself. And a life that really, utilizes your talents, and that can use them in a way that people can benefit and have take value from and will appreciate, because it's one of those divine gifts that's been given to you. It's just like, this is the path in which you have to go through in order to be able to share those, right, with others. And I think, someone has given you you've had a good idea presented in some way, or like literally someone recently has given you some really good advice that can have a very positive influence on your situation. Definitely things evening out. This is Mercury in Libra. So it's like, I feel like something about communication or expressing a creative idea, it's like work that you've put into something is finally starting to balance out, and like it's gonna start gaining momentum, or like all the work that you've done is finally gonna start looking like it's shaping into something, if that makes sense. All right, y'all. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. I will see y'all tomorrow night around midnight, or whenever the video posts. Is usually in the middle of the morning. So whenever you see me next, it'll be for our Secret Teachings of Jesus episode, where I delve into the Gnostic Gospels, and we just knock into those for fun. All right, y'all. Ciao.